picked this thing up for free from a neighbor. It's pretty awesome. He's like, hey, basically he's like, oh, here, you can have this for spare parts for your VXL Rustler. And I was like, man, this thing's almost complete. I'm just gonna finish it. Then I'll have a brushed Rustler and a VXL Rustler. So one thing weird is this older chassis has this little battery stop to put your battery right there. So I've got to remove that to be able to fit the 2S battery. It fits in my other one just fine. So, but this one just doesn't quite get in there. And this battery post is goofy. This thing's goofy as hell. I don't know what's up with that. I'm gonna grind that down. I'm gonna cut this little piece off right there so this thing fits in there. It just needs like another, I mean, it's like almost there, but not quite. It like almost wants to fit right there. I'm just gonna move that and then I'm gonna run foam in there. Keep it from sliding around. Foams. Yeah, it like barely wants to, it almost wants to fit in there, but it doesn't. So this thing was all like, goofed out. Like, so, it had like a safety wire connecting this thing to this so they could run like a really tall battery pack. I don't know why. And then I removed all this, the speed control. Luckily it has a low voltage protection on it, so it's not that old. So I can run a LiPo in this thing. And then I'm gonna mount this. So these come like with a bunch of stuff to mount it up here, and it's weighed up high. So, which is kind of like the old school way you did it in an RC10 back in the day, was you had a little mechanical speed controller up here. But yeah, so I'm gonna cut off these tabs. I'm gonna grind these tabs off. See those tabs? Because otherwise it makes it so with those mounting tabs on there, it makes it so it can't fit right there. But but it almost fits. So you can see it almost fits there. So I'm gonna make it. We'll probably put it as forward as possible, like right there. And then I'm gonna cut those tabs off, and then I'm gonna double-sided tape it in there, the old school way. Have this thing running. Picking up a motor today. Yeah, this thing. Yeah, it's got the aluminum steering blocks and the aluminum caster blocks, which I need in my other vehicle, but I don't know if I want to steal it from this. That's like $50 worth of parts. So I either steal it from this and put it on my faster one, and then hope this one doesn't break, which is more likely this one won't break because I'm not going to bash it. I'm just going to race it, take it to the track. They're building a 10 scale track here. So I'm just going to run it on the track. And without brushless power, I mean, shouldn't be hitting stuff too hard. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just upgrade both of them. Right now I'll probably just steal those off of this and then swap my VXL stuff, my plastic crap on that thing. Put it on there. This is going to be mounted right there. Then the receiver's going on this side. It came with like a 2.4 gig, but this is old school, so I don't know. I'm not going to run that. I bought a Dumbo RC, which is the funniest name ever. I bought a Dumbo RC receiver and radio, so that should be coming in like 2 days. Then I'll throw that sucker in there. This will be in there like that, and then that's gonna be moved so the battery fits in there. And then you can run it like, if you want to run a shorty, you can put more foam right there, and then run a shorty up towards the front, like for racing purposes. I want to have a big battery in there. That way, I can just do as many laps as possible without having to change the stupid battery. Like, it makes sense to have a smaller one for a race, a little bit less weight, and then you can keep the weight distribution more towards the center. But But like for just clicking off laps, I want the most I can get. Like, I want to be able to run as long as possible. Anyways, let's see what else it came with. Oh, I already did this. I already did this. I took off, it had an RPM bumper on it, like a big old ugly thing. And to me, it's just, I don't need it. Like, that's a basher thing. I don't think I need it as a racer, a race vehicle. So I was gonna go buy one of these, but then I realized my kid's Stampede has the same exact bumper. So I put the big basher bumper on the Stampede because that's what he does with it. And then I threw this one on there. So that's a nice free modification. This thing's gonna be sweet. I gotta get a motor today. I gotta get at least one of these bolts, if they got them, the motor bolts. And then I get my radio comes Wednesday. I'll hook that sucker up, and this thing will be ripping. So I'll be ripping by Wednesday, and then today is Monday. So let's see what it's got. Oh, it's basically, I mean, other than those couple of upgrades, it's pretty much a stock Rustler. It looks cool. Looks all right. I want to get those F-150 J Concept bodies for this thing, and for my other one, for my VXL. The VXL looks cooler with the body now. This body's kind of weird looking, but I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, you gotta put, it like barely fits with that bumper. It barely fits on there, but oh, these are the black chrome wheels that come on the VXL. It's got one of those, and it's got 3 of the regular chromes. Probably switch to some race tires. Tires and wheels, but yeah, it'll be good for cheap. Be a good setup for cheap, man. And that's what it's all about. Like, I feel like unless you're in the top 10%, the car doesn't matter that much. Just make it reliable and decent enough handling. And like, this is my theory ever since I was a teenager. Feel like a lot of people spend money on stuff that they really should try to fix by just getting more skill, more practice. So like when I was a teenager, I know my girlfriend hates this story because I've told her a bunch of times, but I went to the driving range and there was like dudes with freaking $500 drivers with head warmers on them and all kinds of shit. And I went out there with some piece of shit like Costco or some, I don't know where they came from, some sort of garage sale golf clubs that my dad had lying around. And I went out there and I started driving farther and straighter than all these dudes with freaking stupid amounts of money in their stuff. So my theory's always been that you just need skill. And unless you're in like the same with dirt bike racing, I used to race dirt bikes. So with the dirt bike racing, same exact concept. Unless you're in the top 10%, you can go out there, a good guy can go out there with a clapped out 20-year-old bike and still wipe the floor with most people if you got the skills. So in my opinion, get yourself some cheap wheel time driving these things around, and you're gonna be almost as fast as everybody else. And then when you decide to put the money down on something like top notch, fully adjustable wazoo race setup, you're gonna be that farther ahead. That's my opinion. Anyways, rock and roll.